Welcome to the further adventures of Hillork fighter Giac of Beogh. I forgot to record the first few steps in the Desolation of Salt because I tend to do this when I'm too sleepy to do normal work, so mistakes happen. But anyway, nothing happened except I read one of my two magic mappings. And now I've got the first pull. This Ironbrand Convoker, I'm trying to hex him so that I don't get an excessive pull. I think I'm using random effects. I'll switch to Polymorph later on, which is a better choice. First, oh yeah, Polymorph, yeah. Turn into a turtle, no issue. Unfortunately, I've also got a Peacekeeper, and those should just be nuked. He's already mited by the Convoker. That's what the Convoker was miting off screen. So that's not great. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it. I guess I'm going to go for Reflection, which I think is the wrong choice. It's better to have Blink, the Blink Amulet. And there's a second pack, which I may be pulling. It was my fault because I retreated a bit too far along a southern line. Instead of replicating my path exactly, I uncovered one extra tile and it had a pack in it. So now I've got a situation and I'm barbed. But it's still manageable because I took out the Convoker early. So, and since the Hillork fighter is an axe wielder, it's going to be alright. But I'm down to one source of regen, so that's not great. Considering my options, instead of retreating, I should be nuking the Peacekeepers. So that's, what, 3 errors? 2 errors? Just reviewing my spells to see whether anything helps. I don't think it does. So now it's axe time. And this is an obvious berserk situation, which is fine. I have 5 berserk potions and then I have a berserk amulet, so it's certainly fine to use up my berserk in Desolation of Salt, where it's highly relevant, since Desolation's primary threat is swarming, fixing your position with light infantry and then swarming. I decide not to train short blades since the cross training will bring it up. I want to take out the Servant of Whispers, and then with whatever's left I finish off the Snapping Turtle just in time. Fall back to the entrance since I'm slowed, or the exit rather. Nothing shows up, so I'm good to go. My goal is to reach a corner. That's why I read magic mapping, to avoid the 3 vaults on the map and to get to a corner, since the vaults tend to have heavy packs guarding them. Another Servant of Whispers, not a big deal, just need our Lek. I take out the Saltlings since they have no EV, low HP, and they're fast. So they're priority target for the, and they have low HP, yeah. So they're a priority target for the Sling since it will definitely, very likely to hit them and take them out. And once the fast and monsters are dead, it's possible to retreat. That's the priority in Desolation of Salt, is maintaining one's ability to retreat. Plus Saltlings can get powered up in a number of ways by support higher tier monsters in Desolation, so taking them out is a good way to limit how bad a pull can get. before they get enhanced. My skeleton is blocking my line of fire. Trying to move with Arlek up. Ironbrand Convoker. I decide for random effects since he's sleeping, so any projectile will almost always hit him. It's a slow, which is fine. I decide to just try to take him out with the sling since he's slowed. Should slow down his convoking. Now he's recalling, but too late. And I make it to a corner. So now I have an ideal defensive position that can only be attacked from 3 tiles with adjacent melee, and can only be reinforced from 1 quadrant. East southwest. It even has cloud cover, which is ideal. I decide to back up, try to avoid the saltling reinforcement. Using the freezing trident on the saltlings, which fortunately aren't immune to... They used to have a bunch of elemental resistances, but that was too OP. Desolation of Salt is more manageable now. It's still great at picking off noobs, but... it has a very strong... I guess, spoilery aspect to the branch, where if you don't sufficiently prioritize avoiding getting pinned down by the light infantry, then one can very quickly become overwhelmed. Although teleport works fine in here, so when the situation is dire, then just leave. I don't think anything locks down teleports. So. And obviously leave before teleporting becomes prohibitively dangerous. So wait. Don't wait until one's HP is too low or one has serious debuffs such as MR/2 divided by 2. So I'm avoiding the big vaults and just exploring the perimeter. Sprung another pack. Peacekeeper, I should be nuking it, I think, instead of backing off. I'm just giving it time to might stuff, which is not good. Now I'm barbed. Which is okay, I still have blink. I'm worried about the Imperial Myrmidons, so I'm putting on MR+. I've got 2 Peacekeepers. I think this would be a good opportunity for a Javelin of Penetration through the Peacekeepers. Their EV is low, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. hurt one of them. Their AC is very high, so acid would be good here, but I don't do that. I think a couple of Peacekeepers are definitely worth an acid bolt. Particularly with this Myrmidon on the screen, who's a significant threat. Since he can hex and he can have MR and hex. I berserk while MR halved with the Myrmidon, which I think is not totally safe. But at least I'm anti-magicking him, so it's a little bit safer. But I could have played that better. I could have acided to acided the Peacekeepers and then kind of blinked around, not let the Myrmidon have my MR. Although blinking carries its own dangers of pulling additional packs. But I think keeping away from the Myrmidon is a good idea. Yeah, because I think he has confused, so it's kind of risky to berserk next to him. Confuse and agony and slow, if I recall correctly. So he can be nasty. Working my way into this vault. I'm gonna head for the edge. As expected, there's a sizable pull waiting inside the vault. Peacekeeper, and there's another Imperial Myrmidon. Should be nuking the Peacekeeper. Still haven't learned my lesson on that. Barbed. I'm picking off the Saltlings instead, which synergize with Hierophant, and they can also be mited by the Peacekeeper. So now it's axe time. Peacekeeper's mited. Oh, he only mites the Saltlings. Okay, that's not as bad. Not sure why I wasn't using axe there. Maybe I wanted to pick off the Saltling first. Blink since I'm barbed. Get Arlek up. I should blink again to stay away from the Myrmidon. Yeah, I do. I decide to use acid to get a 2-for-1 on the low EV threats. The Myrmidon is high EV, so projectiles won't work too well on him, but I can finish off the acided Saltling before he And now it's axe time, before his debuff wears off. Now it's anti-magic axe with the Myrmidon, which is a decent counter. His EV is so high that, blinking and using projectiles wouldn't be very effective, and MR is so high that it'd be difficult to hex him. I'm trying to poison him, didn't realize he has rPois. This fight is going on too long. Finally I realize it and go for the drain, after which I can try to confusing touch him, but he's almost dead. So instead I just use my max damage weapon, which is the Zongeldrak sword. Reach into full. Practically, if the Myrmidons started hexing me, I'd just smite him. Guardian Serpent, Ragged Hierophant. Guardian Serpent is the priority. I've got a choke point here and a better one that I retreat to. With all these clouds around, the Guardian Serpent will have a difficult time blinking allies to encircle. There's the Poison Bolt. I still don't have a good rPois source other than the staff, which is not a good one since it denies my weapon, replaces my weapon. Regenerate, fall back to my secured corner. I already have the best possible Amulet of Reflection. Cleared out that vault, so now I can reach a second corner. But I like clearing around this vault since it has obstructions and cover and kill hole. Pull the Hierophant by himself. Poison him up. And Zongeldrak, but no zombie. Ragged Hierophant. His Saltlings respond. I go for them first. Misprioritized target there. I should have kept going for the Saltling with the sling. Sling is good versus the Saltling AC. It has a relative advantage because GDR doesn't matter at range. I actually don't know whether monsters like that have a GDR. They're not wearing armor, so I guess they don't. Anyway, with his low EV, I think it's better to target the Saltling with the sling, because ranged weapons tend to have a disadvantage, suffer from a disadvantage in 2-hit, which is compensated for by the fact that they can attempt to drill through, well, attempt to attack, fire through a line of enemies and then have multiple chances to hit. Got the Hierophant by himself. His EV isn't great, so I'm poisoning him with the Trident. And going for the drain. Drained him. And got my first Zonguldrak zombie, if I recall correctly. A Guardian Serpent. So I'll priority target him. Got him. So by exploring along the edges, I'm able to pick off these packs, defeat them in detail, which is the way to handle Desolation of Salt. Stay away from the vault for now, reverse directions, and start patrolling back the other way. Ensuring that patrols don't invade my, or cross the perimeter into the cleared zone. Prevent myself from getting flanked. Now that I've cleared most of the map, teleport is a much more attractive option. There's a Guardian Serpent and a Crystal Golem. Guardian Serpent is the first priority. Finish him off with Zonguldrak and I think get a zombie. Unless that's the one I already had. Myrmidon and a Guardian Golem. They don't really complement each other, but both are dangerous. Oh no, I didn't get a zombie from the Guardian Serpent. That was just my old ragged Hierophant zombie. I get a riposte and kill the Saltling that way, and just continue retreating. I've got regen, so don't have to worry too much about the Saltling. Check my RC plus options. I've just got the ring, so I need RF and RC to counter the Crystal Golem. Put that on. I like the choke point since it means I can engage the two dangerous monsters one at a time. Switch to the MR plus weapon to counter the Myrmidon and start trying to poison him. He has low AC, so the dagger is doing damage even though poison isn't. Venom isn't proccing. Finally he gets poisoned. Switch to the rapier to finish him. Higher base damage. And I fire an acid through the Myrmidon to finish him off, and corrode the Crystal Golem to start our combat. Using the anti-magic axe to shut down the golem's dangerous bolt. Animate the Myrmidon skeleton. Carefully reveal more of the vault. Saltling has gotten behind the cleared perimeter. Two of them. Ironbrand Convoker immediately recalls, and I don't have line of fire to him, so I start retreating towards the western edge of the map in cloud cover. I don't want to be out in the open. How's Warlock for the first time. He can also summon, so this is dangerous. The convocation goes through, and now there's a second Convoker. This is getting too much. Now there are 3 summoner types on the map. I try to polymorph one of the Convokers, and then I just say, screw it, this is too much. The vault is now rushing me, so I teleport. And since I've cleared most of the map, the teleport goes fine. I cleared the weaker half of the map that didn't have the 2 vaults. Then I move as far away from as possible from the enemy concentration to give them time to disperse. Pack from this vault. No big deal. A couple of saltlings and a hierophant. Servant of Whispers. Trailing, probably considered part of the same pack. That's why he's following, I presume. Unless he's just following the sling bullets. Ironbrand Convoker, time to polymorph. Glowing Shapeshifter is potentially dangerous, but I have plenty of polymorph charges, so we can counter any dangerous forms he achieves. I have Devastation. This is no problem. And I one-shot the Swamp Worm. Since I have Draining, I had a counter to the Glowing Shapeshifter. finish clearing the vault in order to reach the corner. Find a rune cloak, try to equip it, but a monster interrupts. Servant of Whispers. I don't think the rune cloaks can be cursed. Might be wrong about that. Anyway, they can't have dangerous brands. Take him down easily. Animate the skeleton. Got some decent spells. I'll have to check out my spells after this is over. Peacekeeper. I think it's okay to retreat as long as he doesn't have too many saltlings on the screen to might. Defeated the saltlings in detail. Ironbrand Convoker, time to polymorph. Good outcome. Animate the skeleton. Finally put on, drop the old cloak. The cloak I found was rPois, so now that's taken care of, which is great. Finally. Halazid Warlock from the earlier swarm. I need to get RC plus and RN. Equipping my resistances and going to use the rapier for its RN, which I think is a mistake. I should just rely on the ring for RN and try to damage him and kill him quickly, which a rapier is not great for. He's got a lot of resistances, so no poison or draining. Yeah, his bolt of cold does too much damage, so I don't want to delay killing him. Plus, you can shadow creatures. Maybe I should have anti-magic axed him, actually. Crystal Golem, so I'm reconfiguring my resistances for that maximum RF and RC. And just retreating to regen to full before engaging. was thinking about using reflection on him, just to reduce the number of bolts I'm struck by, but I don't think reflecting those bolts is possible. I think reflecting bolts is possible, period. Acided him. I was thinking it was because they bounce off of walls, but that's not the same thing. Anti-magic axe time. So it's better to face him in melee, which is why it's good to pull him into the cloud cover before he closes, so he gets fewer bolts. Answered only by the sling, which is RF minus, not ideal. Take out the Servant of Whispers easily. Now there's just the one vault and corner left, which has already had everything pulled out of it. So, not likely to be much else here, but always pays to be cautious. Now I just need to figure out the looting, which is mildly interesting in this case. First priority is the blowgun, which can't be cursed and can't have a bad brand. So I just drop whatever to find out how high the enchantment is. I don't think it can be cursed anyway. I know it can't have a bad brand. So I risk wielding it, and it's +5, which is great. So that's an upgrade by 3 points over my current blowgun. Decide to drop my rock collection. Stones don't really matter. I have 300 sling bullets. And I can easily start rebuilding my stockpile. It's past the point where Sandblast is, particularly relevant. It can still help versus high EV, 0 AC monsters, but not an Earth Mage. Definitely want the ring for identification later. And I dropped the File of Floods because there are other files of floods in my game, and grab the ruined dagger, looking for what else I can drop, and decide not to drop a wizardry because potentially might want 3 sources of wizardry to cast some really difficult to cast spell for some strategic reason. I forgot how to do the Boolean operators for search, but anyway, I don't have enough surplus MR plus rings to drop. It would cost a bunch of gold to buy another one. So I'm looking for what I can drop. The chunks are an obvious choice, but also I can drop the rPois staff. Oh, and the ring turned out to be useless, so I dropped that. Grab the flail. And that's it. So, thanks for watching. Make a note to myself to retrieve the flail. And hit the exit. making it to myself about the next steps, which are inventory related, so I won't commentate those. Yep, thanks for watching.